they force you into being more organized with your time. They make you figure out that I only have X amount of hours at these times. I have to go pick up my child or put my kid down for a nap or drop my kid off at college, whatever the thing. And so you are forced into appreciating the time you have and using it wisely.
Welcome to Breaking Down Your Business, episode 317.
Welcome back. We're happy to have you.
You can find the show notes to this episode at breakingdownyourbusiness.com/say it, Jill.
What are we talking about? 317.
So glad to have you paying attention to the show.
You're welcome. Hi, guys.
I'm Brad from Anchor Advisors.
I don't speak numbers. I'm Jill Salzman from the Founding Moms. I speak words, okay?
Are you sad today,
Don't
Jill?
laugh at me. No, I'm trying a whole new tone that sounds really unwelcoming. Because you're so welcoming, I thought it'd be the counterpart.
All right.
So annoying. Let's move on.
Goes.
Moving on.
So, if I remember this right, Jill, if I go back in your history,
You probably don't.
every time you got pregnant, you started a new business, right?
Actually, that is correct.
I started my business when my youngest was 4. And so, a little bit after the actually having a baby part.
Yeah.
But small kids, as I remember, take a lot of time and energy.
Do I even need to say anything to that?
So why is it that when we're right in the middle of like the time when they're sucking the most energy literally out of us, why do we start a business at that point?
I want to go the way of hormones. I'm not kidding. I think that there is some surge that makes you feel like you can do anything. I don't really know, and maybe that was just my body, but every time I had a kiddo, I had like a new... It's exciting to have a baby.
It is. It's very exciting.
Everybody only talks about how it's exhausting and the energy is drained and everything. I freaking loved it.
There's a lot of...
There's a new baby. There's a new
lot of
person to get
euphoria.
to know.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of euphoria.
Right.
Your whole way of doing life shifts. Like you're completely out of control. There is a whole new method to the madness. So why not throw in something
Well, and
new?
it's
like
funny that you say that. Because
Business.
I actually think that was my thought process is like, I don't think it can get any more chaotic. Like, how could it be more chaotic?
It's all chaos anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's all chaos all the time, why not start a business? Now, that was wrong. That thought was wrong.
But also, when you say, you started a new business with each baby, that's not like I sat there and said, I am going to launch a business.
No, I understand.
For me, it was more like, let me test this thing out. I'm going to throw something out there, see if it works. Also because, new baby, new mouth to feed, need money.
Yes.
So,
that was on my list also.
Let me try to throw out a website, see if I can sell this baby jewelry. If it works, great, I'll have a business. If not, I'll fold in 2 days and call it a day.
Yeah.
So, fortunately, it worked every time. But it's not like I set up, I'm going to hire a bookkeeper and know my branding and get marketing. It was all trial and error.
So, speaking of trial and error, we had a voicemail from a listener. Should we listen to that and then get back to this question?
Yes, please.
Let's hear from Maddie.
Okay.
Hey, guys. My name is Maddie Boning. My company's name is called Sunstone Candles. To tell you just a little tiny bit about us, we handcraft soy candles with a surprise crystal inside, so things like quartz, amethyst, tiger's eye, and then we'll also put a note in there with the crystal to let people know what kind of crystal they got and what healing properties it has. And I've been in business, my business anniversary is in June, and it'll be 3 years, so very grateful, very proud. And I, see that you guys always ask, what's your problem? I think I have a good one that could be a good topic. My problem is I'm having trouble connecting my brand message to my brand. So it's kind of rebranding in process where there was never sort of an established brand in the first place, but now I know the message that I want to get across. I have a great product that sells, and I want to know how to kind of tie it all together nicely. And I think that could be a good and interesting topic for your listeners.
I'm so glad that Maddie called in.
I am thrilled with that question because she's asking something a lot of people are wondering.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, Jill, how is it that we establish a brand voice and message?
Well, that's the thing. It is extremely rare that somebody launches a business and goes, I'm going to establish my brand today. It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
So I love your question, Maddie. Thanks for asking, because I think your assumption is the same as everyone else's. Oh, wait, I finally figured out my message. I finally figured out my brand. How do I weave it in? You're kind of asking, how do I introduce it later in the game while my stuff is already selling? And that's easy. I'm going to give you the funny answer, which is you just do it. But Brad, maybe you want to elaborate on how to do it.
Well, I think the first thing I would say is you need to write a brand message in your own voice. We talked a couple episodes ago about writing like you talk.
Writing anything in your own voice.
Right. And I think that brand message, especially for a product like this candle product,
yep.
There's probably something personal about this. There's a personal reason why this was the business that she chose to go into.
Yeah, if you sell what you sell, you love what you sell.
Right. And so telling that story, even the personal parts of it, are part of what's going to attract people to your message.
Sure.
Right? So I think first, let's write out your brand story and your brand message in as concise a way as you can, but just start out by vomiting. Like, let it all out.
But also, you can look to the things that already exist. So perhaps you have this message on the descriptions you were referring to on the actual candle, but maybe that's missing from your website or any social posts. Perhaps it's only on your Facebook page, or we noticed you sell on Etsy. Perhaps it's there, but it's not on the candle. Perhaps it's on the candle, but it's not on the Etsy page. You have to make sure that it's everywhere.
Yeah. You need to be consistent everywhere. And then once you've got that written, I think thinking about what's a tagline or an encapsulation of that, you know, it's really great if you've got a brand and then just a little line that
the one-liner
gets to the heart of it, right?
Yeah, the one-liner you tell people in an elevator.
That's right. And for that, I usually look for outside help because, like, getting down to the heart of your own brain is a little like doing brain surgery on yourself. Like, for me, I get really lost in my own head about what's important. Like, it's all important. Otherwise, I wouldn't have written it all, right? But sometimes people from the outside.
But for Maddie's case, she already has customers who've paid her money for her product.
Yes.
So she can go back and she can ask them not only for a review, which would be lovely, but look at the language they're using when they leave a review.
Yes.
Talk to them. Ask them, how would you describe me to somebody else? I tend to not... I think, Brad, you meant hire out. And I tend to like to use social media.
That's a really good option,
for the purpose of...
That's a really good option.
What do you all think? How would you describe it? You can host a contest and have people basically do the work for you. But if you do it in a community fashion, it will produce great results.
And then the other thing I would say is you want to represent it in a lot of different forms. So make a video for your site. Make an audio recording of you talking, you know, like when you introduced yourself on the podcast there. Like, that's a great summation or encapsulation of what your brand is about.
I don't think there was the one-liner that you will end up having that you'll end up being able to say when you call a podcast, say in 6 months, and update them about how you're doing. You know?
So, you know, have it in writing, have it in a video, have an image. That's what a logo is, right? Is an image that represents it.
I took a peek on Etsy. She has a really neat logo because it shows a little... It's like a person with a little glowing... I imagine that's the crystal part of this candle thing. Anyway, I got it. I was wondering, even just looking at the logo alone, and a lot of you can look at your own logos and think, does this really represent where I am now? Because I think a lot of people think I have to stick with my logo forever because that's what I started with. Mm-hmm. And your logo's allowed to morph too. So if you feel like you're in a slightly different place, if you hired somebody off of some website to create a very corporate logo for you, and you want to take yourself to a much more transparent, organic small business place, you can redo it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Introduce something new with your new branding slogan.
Thanks so much, Maddie, for calling in.
Maddie, you're the best.
And if you want to hear your story on breaking down your business, go to call 708-872-7878. Jill, now we're going to go back and talk about the topic at the top about having kids when we're starting a business. Do you think having kids makes you a better business owner, or do you think it interferes with growing your business? Say more.
Better.
Say more.
Don't you feel it better? No.
Yes.
Yeah. That was too long a pause.
There are pluses and minuses.
I think it's better because they force you into being more organized with your time.
This is true.
They make you figure out that I only have X amount of hours at these times. I have to go pick up my child or put my kid down for a nap or drop my kid off at college, whatever the thing. And so you are forced into appreciating the time you have and using it wisely.
And I think parents are natural. and natural is not the right word. Parents are forced to learn multitasking, and small business owners are forced to learn multitasking.
Yes,
right?
For
We
sure.
wear a lot of hats. We do a lot of things at once. And that's one of the things that I think is a two-edged sword, because that's great for starting a business. As your business starts to grow, doing less multitasking is actually helpful. And
Very
so
helpful.
I think some of that teaches us bad habits. So it is important for us to survive as a startup that we're multitasking and doing lots of things. But at some point, to grow our business, we have to stop.
Well, but
doing
you also
less
have a
things.
lifelong appreciation of the multitasking and
It's
of
true.
the many, many hats you
Yes.
have to wear. I also want to say that the thing that a lot of people don't talk about is that we often bring up how kids might have ruined our business lives or currently are in the way. And I constantly think that's a terrible thing to
Totally agree.
propagate, because they make things better. I think that they improve things. I think if you don't keep trying to shoo your kids away and you involve them more, your whole business can become a better business. You become a better business person. But it's like we're all fighting this fight that you don't need to fight.
I think that it allowed me to accept constraints. There were certain nights that I just couldn't be out. So I couldn't go networking, or I
Right.
couldn't go to an event.
Right.
And there were lots of times I was like, but there's opportunities at that event. But those opportunities are not for me, because
Correct.
I'm going to be home with
yeah,
my kids that
flip
night.
it around. I love that.
And so it taught me that it's okay to not do all the things.
Yes.
Right?
It's, right. They
Limits
show
are
up to
okay.
teach you that
Right.
if you say no more, you might still end up making the same money
That's
or
right.
more.
That's right.
And not go out to 50,000 networking events.
The other thing that I will say that having kids did for me when I started my business is that I'm not messing around. Like, if I'm going to do this business thing,
They gave you the end goal, the
I have
point.
to feed the kids. I need
Yeah,
diapers. I
yeah.
need, and so I got to get serious about this. And I know that a lot of people, when they're younger and they start their business, they do it a little half-arsed for a while.
Oh, I like your English language situation there. I also want to say, if anybody loves to read and you go to Amazon, you happen to find a book called The Best Business Book in the World, according to my mom. I released it last November, and the entire introduction is full of doodles that my children drew.
Which is awesome.
And they are used throughout the book. And so I don't know. I'm a business owner with a successful business who has successfully woven her children's skills into what she does for a living. I think that a lot of people can do it, but they think that it's not the right thing to do.
So I guess as I'm listening to us, what I would sum up there is that there are ways that having children helped my business.
Oh, yeah.
There are ways that it hindered my business.
Sure.
And it's just a reality. I have kids. I have a business. And so
Right.
make it work.
And I love it. Thank you for talking about it, because a lot of people don't like to talk about it, because business is one thing and kids are another. And that's not real life. That's not reality.
I'm only one person.
Are you?
Mostly.
Some days.
A whole one. I'm trying to be.
Yeah. Can we crush it? Did we crush it?